the body language. We did some body language positions the other day. I've just summarized them in one slide. These are the 5. One more thing we did. We did the shaking hand thing also. We saw the shrug. We saw the okay. We saw the thumbs up. We saw the chin mudra. And we saw how people, the kind of distance they should maintain with each other to give a positive or a negative approach. Anybody any doubt in this? No. Anybody wants to say something? Did you try any of these? Okay, so let's go ahead. Now we'll see the hand and arm gestures. Whenever you're talking to somebody, there are some things which are very clearly visible. That is the face and the facial expression of that person, followed by a hand and arm gestures. How you are moving your hand and how you are using your hands, right? Now, when you're talking to somebody and the other person is rubbing their hands, like you say, rubbing their hands, it is in a way in which people non-verbally communicate positive. When you are rubbing hands, you are communicating positive expectations. You are saying that if you are discussing party the other rubbing hands, that means he's giving an indication of expecting that party ho, he's expecting something plus. Now, all these gestures or all these things that we're talking about should not be seen in isolation, right? Now, along with the hands, you should see the face of the person, the eyes of the person, and you'll be able to put a cogent or put a picture which will talk in totality. It is not going to be a half-cocked thing, right? Yeah. Go to the next one. Now you have hands clenched together, right? Next one, please. Yeah, there are 3 positions: hand clenched in raised position, in middle position, and in lower position. You see people doing all this when you're talking, especially when they have a table, they will clench their hands and cross their fingers, and the hand is raised, is resting on elbows, or is in the middle position along with his chest, or going below his chest, right? What do these positions indicate? Yeah. Now, it's a frustration gesture, signaling that the person is holding back a negative attitude, right? Now, the gesture has 3 main positions. Now, the person will be more difficult to handle when the hands are held high, then he would be the person with whom hands are resting on the desk position, right? If somebody is clenched his fists and kept his hands on top, that means it's very difficult to handle. He's frustrated with you. He's not happy with you. You are probably beating around the bush. You're talking about things which don't make sense to him, and he's not happy with that, right? So you have to make sure that you are seeing the position, changing your stance. That means whatever discussion that you're making, you should change the to make sure that it is your favor rather than frustrate the person. These things that remember, and you can practice them slowly and steadily, and these changes will mean a lot to you. And if you can study the other person, you can react accordingly. There are times when somebody is speaking, right? You can understand the meaning of the word, but with the way that word is spoken, you can understand the intention of that person. You can understand. You can understand the intention of the person. Similarly, seeing the body language, you can understand the intention of the person rather than just thinking that, rather than not reacting to the intention, right? Okay. The next slide, please. The steepling hands. Steepling hands is when you are not crossing your fingers. You're not crossing your fingers when the fingers are touching each other, right? Like it is like a steep climb kind of thing. It's like a pyramid, right? That's called steepling hands. When it is a raised steeple, that means when the fingers are meeting in front of his face or in front of his chin. Now, this is when the person is giving his opinion or ideas and is doing the talking. So if you see some guys talking, watch next time when you watch a TV interview or something like that, or when people are talking very confidently, you will know that guy will be using raised steeple. Now, you don't have to practice these things. These things happen automatically. These things happen automatically. So it's essential that you watch the other guy and observe him, and you will see those things happening automatically, right? Okay. And the next one is lowered steeple, right? When the steepler is listening rather than speaking, you'll find this happening. When he's listening to you, he'll put his hand down below. Just give me a minute. I need to relocate myself. It's raining outside here. Just let me move inside, please. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. Everybody back with me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the break. Huh? Okay. So now this is these steeple action that I was talking about, where the hands are pointing downwards. Now, you are not here to do research on everybody's body language or hand position, but remember that you can use it to your advantage, and you can use it not only for your interview here, for anything that you do, you can use this to your advantage to understand what the other guys say. Yeah. Next position is called the gripping hands, arms, and wrists. If you see the first one, where that guy is crossed in both his palm, it is a superiority public confidence gesture. I don't know if you have if anybody has, if you have recently seen The Crown, where the whole movie was built on the British Empire, right? If you've not seen it in Netflix, see it. Watch it. It's a very long series, of course. Now here, if you see, I remember having seen any of these princes, especially Prince Philip or whichever prince that they show, this is how they walk. Their hands are crossed behind, their chests are out, and it's an indication of royalty or monarchy, right? It is a superiority confidence gesture. And if you go to the next one, where the hand is gripping the wrist, you see the left hand is gripping the right wrist behind the back. It is actually not just gripping, but this guy is holding his right arm from probably coming out and striking the other person, right? And then the hand has moved further up. I'll just tell you what these three things mean. Can you go to the next slide, please? Now, if you see the first one, it is superiority public confidence gesture, common among royalty, and you'll find a policeman who is patrolling his beat, or headmaster walking through the senior schoolyard, or senior military personnel or other person in authority. That's how they walk. They cross their hands behind and walk, right? And then when it's gripping the wrist, it's a sign of frustration and an attempt at self-control, right? I mean, it is actually an indication that the left hand is stopping the right hand from going and hitting somebody, out of frustration, of course. And third one is, as the hand moves up, the more angry the person has become. Of course, you cannot see his hand because it is behind his back, whether it is moving up or down, but you can still make out whether the chap is handling his own wrist, or he is holding the arm above the elbow, right? So this is just to know that something is wrong with that fellow. Usko gussa aa raha hai, right? Gussa kyun aayega? When he is not in understanding with your point of view, or when he feels that you are not understanding his point of view, right? Now let's see the thumb displays. Next slide, please. These are thumb displays. Now this is the dominant male, the dominant female. Whoever it is, if somebody is wearing a coat, he will put his fingers in his pocket and have his thumb not going into the pocket. Thumb is sticking out. This is somebody who's showing his superiority. Again, you can see people who have this kind of a attitude approach when you're there in the SSB. Whenever or in any of the thing. If you analyze a lot of people that you have seen in life, you'll realize that a guy who has been arrogant or dominant does this. The thumb denotes the strength of character and ego. That all of us are aware. We showed that thumbs up sign. He's saying okay. Who will say okay? Only the guy who is evaluating you. If I'm showing him a picture, if he shows thumbs up, that means he's okay. I'm looking at him for an answer or for his approval, and that guy is giving me an approval by putting his thumbs up. Right? It displays dominance, superiority, or even aggression. Right? Now, thumbs displays are positive signals, often used in the typical pose of a cool manager who uses them in the presence of subordinates. Right? This is what they display. Right. So we just learned a few of hand and arm gestures. I did not take too much time or did not cover them in too much of detail because I want you to experience them when you see anybody in your group or anybody of your friends or any of your teachers or colleagues using these gestures.